Hello, everyone.
Hello.
Yes.
Glad you joined us today.
Morning, afternoon, evening, wherever you are or whenever you listen to this.
Hmm.
Welcome. For those of you, for your first time here, I'm Pam.
I am Mari-Lyn.
Yes. And this is the Conscious Spirit podcast. And we're so happy, whether you've been here before or haven't, the first time, 10th time, whatever, we're in gratitude that you're here. Thank you so much for tuning in. Yeah, so we sometimes we sit here, well, we always try to choose a topic before getting online. It's whether we stick to it or not, or once in a while we just say, oh, we just can't think of anything. Let's just start talking because we're talkers.
Yeah.
Well, I'm a talker. And Mari-Lyn is kind enough to jump in there and humor me. I'm way more talkery than she is. So we were talking about, so the fact that we call it multidimensional energy healers or all dimensions energy healers, however, it all kind of means the same thing. And we've been helping people heal their traumas and woundings, habits, all sorts of things. Yes, for years. One of the things that we come across very often, quite often, more often than we'd like. I think that might be it too.
Very true.
That we have people contact us because they want an energy healing. They want to start that healing. And then what comes up in that healing triggers them and they're out. Like, nope, I'm not coming back.
Or
yes,
they don't even show up for the healing.
Oh,
that happens too.
Fair enough. Yes, that happens as well. Mm-hmm. Yes. Or they negate. That's another thing. They'll negate everything we say.
Sure. Oh, no, that's not it. It's this.
It's like, no. Okay. When we channel spirit, when we're in a session and we're channeling spirit, that's not coming from us at all. It's coming from spirit. Yes, I have one amazing student who, so as I'm...
yeah, just one?
just one, that's all. Okay,
big one. The other ones are that's mediocre.
And you all get to decide which one you are. All my students watching, I'm going to leave it there, and you decide if I'm talking about you or not. Okay, that was funny. I have amazing students, every one of them. I have a group, and they are fabulous. I happen to be talking about just one, though. And so part of the developing your psychic abilities is healing. We have to heal. We talk about this all the time. Yep. There's just no, can you develop without healing? Sure. But I wouldn't touch you with the 10-foot pole. I would not come to you for anything. I would not want you near me. I don't want you touching my energy in any way. Because when we're unhealed, and all of you can, any of you who've been to a psychic, a medium, a healer, anything, you know when it's coming from that person's ego, and that's what happens when they're not when they're not wounded, when they're wounded, when they're not healed. There we go. Anyway, that's probably a whole nother thing that I don't need to get. We talk about that all the time. I have one of my students there, one of my fabulous students. There you go. Will be in, so my development also has, sometimes they show up and we do a healing. That's the session. It's not a class. It turns into a healing session. And things will come up and I'll tell her and she'll go, no, no, that doesn't. And I'll say, okay. And a day or two later, I'll get a message from her. Okay, you were right. At least she thinks about, I mean, that's, and I give her props every time. It's like, bravo for not liking what spirit had to say to you, but holding on to it and really going in and thinking about it.
And when she was saying no, she really in that moment believed no.
Yes.
But like you said, yay her for
Yeah.
allowing that
Yes.
to penetrate and to process it and go, oh,
damn.
she's right again.
Yes. Well, and you can attest to this. Certainly, I know I can from personal experience. We have our mind focused on, this is the thing that I need to heal right now. And I'm angry, I'm upset, I'm hurt, I'm whatever. So this is it. And then spirit comes in sort of from a different direction and says, this is what needs to be healed right now. Yep. And sometimes we just can't switch our brain over to thinking about that, or we're just we're just playing piss because we want this this particular thing taken care of first, because that's what's on our mind.
Right.
Yeah. And oftentimes that thing that we're spinning about and mad about, spirit's like, meh, that's like, no, that's little. Yes, so little, like it, so no.
Insignificant.
Yes. Yes.
But we're really good about picking up on the small insignificant things and spinning about them, going down rabbit holes over things that are like,
yes. And those are habits. Those are habits of bypassing what's really happening, habits of not wanting to take responsibility. What's coming to mind is you do something like, of course, I have children, and this comes into play when you have children. Did you do this? What? No, I didn't. Well, I didn't know. It's like, okay, well, just because you didn't know doesn't mean that it wasn't wrong to do or whatever. Like there's always that sort of, there's a way out of taking responsibility. Of course, my poor children. I always had to get taken responsibility. Wasn't me. Yeah. As they're dirty or whatever they have frosting all over their mouth. I didn't eat that cake.
Wasn't me.
Must have been breadcrumbs on their shirt. Okay, that was me. The breadcrumbs on the shirt, I admit. I have always had a cookie thing. Love me some cookies. Yes. And I would savor I still do it, savor every one, and it'll just be crumbs everywhere. And swear I wasn't the one who ate those. Anyway, I'm not even sure where we started, but
not wanting to heal, I think.
Not wanting to heal.
Yeah.
Yes.
And sometimes it's not even a matter of not wanting to heal. It's a matter of not knowing you can.
Yes. Or that you need it.
True.
Like your life is just that crappy every day, and you're just in the crap, and you don't realize there's something different.
And you think you're perfectly fine because you're managing all that.
Yes. And everyone else is an asshole.
And but I'm just fine.
He's the jerk. She's the one doing everything. I'm just the innocent person sitting here on this pile of poo, drowning in the poo. Yes. And you can get yourself out of it.
You can. Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. But it's scary.
It can be. Yeah.
It's really scary. It doesn't matter how bad it is.
Yes.
It can be fall down, blackout, drunk bad.
Yeah.
And you just don't.
Yeah.
Speaking from experience.
Yes. I have never done that. So I really don't know. And yours, obviously, we know.
I can only imagine. Wounding is wounding, and however it manifests in your life is.
Yes.
It's there's uncountable ways.
Yes.
As a blackout drunk, I couldn't imagine life any other way. I could not imagine surviving.
Did it even occur to you though? Was it even in your purview?
There were times.
There were times. Okay.
There were times where it was like, what if I quit drinking? And it's so, the thought was in the purview, but the reality seemed so impossible.
Sure. Yeah.
That no, there's no way I would even survive getting sober.
Right. Right.
So I can only imagine that that would be a similar thought, that somebody who is living in their deepest wounding on a day-to-day basis, that they may not realize the type of healing that is available for them, but the thoughts of a better life, that's just like a fantasy. How could I ever get there?
Right.
That's just not even possible. Yeah.
Go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say the thought process of I'm not rich enough to pay for that.
Ooh, wow. Wow. I'm not rich enough to pay for that.
I am not rich enough to pay for that.
Yeah.
That thought went through my mind.
Wow. I'm going to write that down.
And I mean, granted, being a drunk and needing to get sober is a little bit different than being in your wounding.
Right.
And needing to heal to change your life. And I do mean a little bit different.
Yes. I can attest to that part of it. Having PTSD from childhood, being, having a dissociative disorder.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there's not.
Go
ahead.
When you're in it.
Right.
And the only thing you could think of is, well, that's going to take therapy and doctors and counselors and psychologists and blah, 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 blah.
It's not fast enough.
It's expensive.
It's expensive. Yeah.
Well, and the fast enough piece too.
For me, it was fast enough. For me, it was fast enough. For me, it was, I would have, a crazy night of, there was, whether it was actually in the abuse of my family or later in life, I was not in that abuse. However, we all know those cycles of trauma move with you. Just because you come out of the house, which is a very big step to get out of the house. Mm-hmm. So that really is step one. However, that cycle stays with you.
Sure.
There is an absolute cycle to it. And that stays with you. And let's say I had a big PSD moment, whatever, something happened, whatever, and I dissociated and it was just a shit show. Then you sleep, then you wake up in the morning and the shame, the guilt, the anger, the depression, all of those things were there in the morning. And how can I stop doing that? And that's how far it would go. Really, for me. So it would be like, well, I guess I have to get up and go to work now, or I have to take care of my children now, or, whatever it was. I was thankfully, and I'm going to really thank my husband for this. He knew that I had a lot of trauma and so forth. He's always been my rock. I'm very fortunate to have him. I tried so hard and did a pretty good job of not having my kids involved when that would happen. Like when I would start going into some crazy spun out, my husband could tell she's about to start screaming or whatever. I'm grabbing the kids and he'd go, hey, let's go outside, or let's, it's bedtime, let's go read. But he was really, really good. My kids as adult, I have talked to them about it and they don't remember that. I mean, they don't know that mom was a crazy woman. growing up. Of course, there are some things, and I have told everyone that I have gone back and apologized to my children.
Mhm.
And I have one son that's like, Mom, or, you know, I kind of hands over the ears. And thankfully, he runs to his wife, and his wife always tells him, would you listen to her? That means something to her to apologize. Okay. And the other one actually sits and we have conversations about it. So I certainly wasn't perfect. They still got some of my wounding, no doubt, some of my trauma.
Oh, that's part of the plan.
That it is. It is, because I had to wound them, so because that was part of their deal in this lifetime. They had lessons they wanted to learn and all of that. But I am really grateful to my husband for he'd start seeing it, and it was like, oh no, I'm getting the kids out. And the kids were none the wiser. He did it in such a way. And I was able to, there was what I knew that was kind of happening. And I'm sure it was Fred. I will credit him as well. Allowed me to hold back just a few extra minutes till the kids were out of the room. And then I would just fall apart. However that looked. A lot of time was crying or whatever, but just getting angry, throwing things, whatever it is. But I really, man, Spirit had my back, and I didn't know how well Spirit had my back until later in life, looking back. As a matter of fact, right now it makes me want to cry, just being so grateful. You know, my husband and I never fought in front of the kids. I always believe that kids need to be kids. They do not need adult problems put on them. That is not their fault. And so they have looked back and said, we never remember you guys fighting. Like it just wasn't, because we would always take it out when there was something, and usually it was because I was a crazy person. We wouldn't fight in front of our kids. So I'm not sure why I had to say all that, but I appreciate everyone listening. Clearly that was coming up and I needed to express it.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So back to the healing.
Someone, in addition to the benefit of you expressing it, there is someone that needed to hear it.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I knew that I had to change. No clue how to do that or what. And it was mostly, now that I think about it, I don't know if it's I had to change, but that shame or that guilt that would come later. And I would swear I'm going to change it on my own. I'm just not going to do that again. How many, did you say that a lot? Drinking too? Like,
yes. Yeah, different verbiage. It would be like, I've got to stop doing this. I've got to stop doing this so much. I've got to stop doing this to this point. I've got to stop.
Yeah.
But there were behaviors, especially since I've been sober, behaviors that I would say to myself, I just have to stop doing this. I'm going to stop doing this. Some of my codependency issues.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm sorry. Codependency cannot be solved by yourself.
No.
It is not a solo journey.
No, it's not. No.
It's not. And that almost sounds, counterproductive if you're codependent.
Right. You need someone else to help.
Shouldn't you be able to do that on your own?
Yeah.
No. Yeah. No, you need support. You need understanding. You need cheerleaders. And that's with any wounding. Codependency does not have the market on any of that.
No.
Going through any type of healing, we need all of that.
Yes.
And we always get that through Spirit, but
it's real help. That's where codependence is different. Because codependence doesn't help anyone at all. No. It doesn't. You're not I'm sorry to all of you who actually are codependent in the moment and thinking you're helping someone, you're not. Or they're not helping you. However that like
it's a false
man.
false reality, man.
Yeah.
It really
makes you feel, I mean, we've talked about this. I was not as codependent as Mari-Lyn. However, yeah, I know what codependence is. Been there. I know what that looks like. And Mari-Lyn and I were even codependent with each other for a while. And I think it was you that one day called me up and you went, I think we're getting codependent. We need some help. We have to stop this. Yeah. And once we looked at it, we went, oh, gross. That is so gross.
So what's coming to my mind is that we were throwing cards one day. And a card came up and I was like, oh my God, that's codependency. Ew. Oh my God.
Gross. Yes. And yes,
it's a sneaky mofo.
Yeah. Ooh, boy.
It is so sneaky.
Yes.
I think every person on the planet has had an experience with codependency with a person or with something in their life.
Yes.
It happens. But then there are those of us that just grab on and want to run with it.
Yep.
And oh man, those of us that are more prone to codependency, it sneaks in, it weaves into our lives. It's like morning glory or ivy or clover.
Yes.
It just takes over and it goes everywhere.
And it's really from childhood. It's not just something you gather later in life, like all of a sudden you become. I've never met someone that just sort of later in life, all of a sudden they're going to be codependent. There's something going on from child. It doesn't all look the same by any means.
No. And there's a compound effect of things happening throughout your early adulthood.
Yep. And we attract. Like attracts like. We talk about that all the time. My energy of codependence is going to attract other codependent people.
Which is why we're so codependent with
family. Yes. And narcissists are codependent.
Oh boy.
We tend to kind of put those in a separate category, but they are codependent.
Yes, they are.
They can't survive without another person feeding them. And so it's kind of like you're either the dominant or the submissive codependent. There's, in that situation.
Yeah.
But, codependence is a nasty one. I know a woman who has an adult son. He's close to 30. He has never had a job. He has a nice car and a nice place to live. He has credit cards. He's got everything he needs. And it's all mommy giving it to him. And every once in a while, she'll flip out. I just don't know what to do, how to get up and stop. And it's like, yes, you do. Like, you really do. But it is so difficult for her to put his needs in front of her own. Those are her needs, making sure that he's comfortable, that he has what he wants. He'll, of course, he'll just berate her and whatever if he doesn't get what he wants, if she decides to stand firm, and then she gives in, and it's just this whole nasty, gross cycle. But that's another thing. I don't know what to do. And
I've been there.
Yeah, and
I have been there. Because when you're in it, you don't.
Right.
You can't see it.
Right. Yes. And it's hard to do something about it.
It is.
It's not so really when you're saying I don't know what to do is I don't want to do it because it's hard and it's, it's easier just to stay on the pile of poo and just keep giving or whatever the grossness is. But when it comes to other people, especially our children, if any of you watching, my hair has disappeared on the background of, and I got a little taken away by that. especially when it comes to children. And I forgot what I was going to say because the whole hair thing sort of got me lost. We have to put our children first, and putting our children first means setting boundaries, means saying no, means forcing them to do things they don't. None of us wanted to go out and get a job for the first time. That's scary. Or none of us wanted to, you have to help.
I
You did what?
wanted to go get a job for the first time.
Oh, okay.
And I was told, no, you're not old enough.
Oh, okay. That kind of sounds like you. But it's hard. It's, the thought of you don't know, and you don't know how. You don't know, okay, I need to go in and ask for an application. I need to, there's steps to it that you have to learn from somewhere. They don't just pop in out of nowhere. Some schools have those classes, which I think are really great. They help you and everything. But you have to help you can't do everything for your children. Okay, someone needed to hear that. It's time to stop being codependent with your children. You are putting them in a really bad position in their life. They need to grow up. They need to, learn on their own how to pay bills, how to look people in the eye when you talk. We see that a lot. These kids don't even know how to look at you when you talk to them. Like you're walking down the street and you say hello, or you go into a store and, you see these young kids and it's just, anyway, I'm going to get off the subject of being a parent. Sometimes for some reason, that's coming up a lot.
So I have to say, what you're talking about, that lack of eye contact, my experience, it's not just children. It is the majority of people that I come in contact with lately. And I'm talking like the last, I don't know, couple of years.
Yeah.
People do not want to have eye contact.
Yeah. I wonder if part of it is just the social media craziness and the phone. Everyone has a phone.
Could be.
Everyone, you don't have to actually, even like online dating. Thankfully, I never had to do, but I know a lot of people who do online dating, and it's just a whole new way. Like, you don't have to go out and meet people now. You don't actually have to do that. What a crazy world we live in. But
it is crazy.
So why don't people want to heal? I guess there are a lot of reasons. People want to change. Change can be real. Just that word scares people sometimes.
Oh, yeah. Forget about changing yourself. Just changing your furniture could be scary.
That's true. Yes. Bless you. Bless you.
Thank you. Excuse me.
I think what just came through when I said that about change is people think change means something different than it actually is. Like when we're talking about healing, that type of changing, you are stepping into who you are, not stepping away from who you are. I think change means, oh my God, who am I going to be? What's going to happen? Well, you're going to be more of the beautiful inside of you coming out. The inside is growing and healing, and you get to become who you are right now, a better version of that, a better version of her or him. This lovely, your strengths are going to be intensified, and those wounds and the things that you don't like about yourself really kind of fade away, but something else within you takes its place that is so much more beautiful.
Absolutely, yes.
That resolve and that beauty really come through. But it's very, very scary for some people.
But when you're faced with that thought, especially like for the very first time, or the first half a dozen times, that thought of who will I be? Is terrifying. And then there's the thought, will people like me? Will people like me if I change?
Right.
And especially for codependents, if I
Oh,
change,
yeah,
if I stop
yeah,
doing that, they're not going to love me anymore.
right. And really,
Why?
what you can say to that is, the ones that are meant to be in your life are going to step up and they're going to meet you at that new vibration. And the ones who don't, let them go. They do not serve you. If someone cannot be happy for this change that you're making, to see you stand in this more confident, valued way, then they are just not worth having in your life.
Mm-hmm.
And there are a lot of those people too. They want to keep you down at their level in the gunk. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
I remember getting, because I've been in a lot of therapy and so forth, so I've been healing for a long time, kind of healing. What I thought was healing, part of it's age. I think many people, we start the journey, but anyway, for me, when I was so tired of being tired. I'm like, I am so done with this. And that's when I went to my first energy healer, and it rocked my world. I was like, oh boy, this is it. This is what I want. It kicked my ass and I came running back for more. Like, yeah.
Sounds like me after my first meditation.
Yes, yes, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes. And I have another one of my fabulous students who has said, we'll do a big healing. And that week after it, she has said she wants to just tell me to go F off. Like, because she's so mad at you kind of go into that, I have to blame someone that I feel this bad. And so of course it's going to be me because I'm the one that did the healing on you. But you know what? She always comes back because she knows who she wants to become. She wants to become that best version of herself.
Right.
And that's really her purpose. It's the purpose of all of us. And so I always have to give her a little time to just sort of shift and turn, and then she'll get back to me. And yeah, so it's a scary process, but boy, is it nice. I'll take healing.
Because I can't say after all is said and done, because we're never said and done, right?
No.
But when you're going through the healing of something, you go through it and you look at the process and you realize that was so easy, especially in comparison to how I felt before I got there, and the fear that I put myself in anticipation of that healing.
Yeah.
Because that anticipation, that fear, that time when you want to just say, okay, we never say this out loud. Okay, I'm scared. I can't do this. I'm going to find an excuse.
Yep.
I'm going to cancel. I'm not going through with this. I can't do it. I'm not worth it. That time frame and that anticipation is so out of control.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's just craziness.
And I have to say that, because we talk about this all the time, we're never healed. We always talk about that. We always have more to heal and everything. And you said when it's all said and done, and then you sort of went, well, we're not real said and done. I can tell you though, and Mari-Lyn can as well, the further you get into it, because the first few, I don't know, couple years, maybe, there's some big ass healings. You really get into your shit, and it's bad. But few years out, and you're like the healings that Mari-Lyn and I do now for ourselves, with each other, for ourselves, they're not the big earth-shattering stuff that used to happen. So do we still have healing to do? Yes. And it's not as hard. It's actually much easier now. The clarity, I think, is what, for me, I think mostly now what comes is the healing comes, and sometimes I'll feel, the embarrassment or the guilt or shame, or mostly it's a lot of embarrassment that I'll feel after, because, oh my God, I can't believe I did all that stuff. well, it's because I was wounded, blah, blah, blah. But it's a lot of clarity more than deep down
Yes.
that healing. It's more, yeah.
Yeah, for me, it's not only clarity on the wounding and the past behaviors, but it's also clarity on how to move forward without it.
Yes, yes. So it
That
does become easier. It really does.
does.
And boy, is it worth it.
It
I
does.
wouldn't go back to like,
No,
no, not even. No, I
no,
wouldn't go back
no.
and change anything, anything. No. Or, go back to any of those times, and it was all worth it. It's all been worth it.
Yeah.
And
The emotions that come up during healing now are so comparatively short-lived.
mm,
Like, I mean, rarely anymore do I get shame that comes up during healing, but when it does, it's like, ooh, that's shame, and thank God it's gone. It's
yes,
that fast.
yes,
It really is.
yeah,
So the benefits to continued healing, they
yeah.
just keep getting better and better and better.
And here's something that I just went through. So I went through, I honestly, here's another piece of it. We don't always remember what that was that we just healed. Like once it's really healed and gone, it's like,
Isn't
huh?
that awesome?
It is. It is.
Yeah.
Because someone will say something, my kids or someone, Mom, remember when you used to do blah? And I'm like, huh? No, I really do. What? Like I don't, because it's gone.
God.
And there are
Well,
times now when I'll heal something, usually they're like habits or whatever, and the embarrassment comes. I'm like, oh my God, I'm so embarrassed. And Mari-Lyn will say, that person, whoever you feel so embarrassed, like looking back, that person probably doesn't even, most likely, either doesn't remember it, or if they do, they remember it in a whole different way than you're remembering it.
yeah,
And I
absolutely.
believe that to be true because I've been in that situation where someone has said, oh, remember when whatever. And I'm like, huh? Oh, okay. Well, I didn't see it that way, but all right.
Yeah.
Yeah, we see things through the lens of our own personal wounding.
Mhm.
And we don't see it through the lens of other people's wounding or how they were looking at the situation. Um, and you know what? Hey, I'm healed. Like, yeah, I'm not that person anymore. Thank God.
Mm. That just brought up something
Thank Fred.
that a conversation I had with one of my clients this past week, about making an apology.
Mm-hmm.
And this client actually apologized to me.
Oh,
And I said, wow, I can appreciate you apologizing, but what you just described is not at all what I experienced.
yeah.
And it was followed up. There was something said that was all ego.
Mm-hmm.
The intention was with ego.
Mm. Mm-hmm. Yep.
And
Yep.
but
Yep.
but I didn't, it did not hit me that way as anything bad. I was able to say, I accept your apology,
That's so
even though it wasn't necessary for me, but for my client, it was necessary because they knew what the intention behind their words was,
right.
and it felt wrong. So for me to just say, oh, it's nothing, no, don't worry
Oh,
about
to
it,
dismiss it is
that
so,
is so dismissive
yeah. Yeah.
of their feelings, of their
Yeah.
healing.
Yes.
So when you said that we don't see things from other people's
Yeah.
perspectives, that just triggered that memory.
Yeah.
And when somebody apologizes, I urge you, please don't dismiss them.
Right.
If it's okay to say, wow, not necessary, I didn't see it that way,
Right.
but I accept your apology.
Mm-hmm.
I appreciate that you wanted to apologize.
Now,
Yes.
going there,
Yes.
if you are not ready to forgive, the situation, like it really hurts you. This person comes to you and wants to apologize and you're just not ready.
Mm-hmm.
Being gracious, though that's hard to do, it's okay to say, I hear what you're saying. I'm not ready yet.
Absolutely.
And walk away. That's okay. And I want people to know that, because I am not one of those people who everyone has to be forgiven. I have to ask for forgiveness from everyone. I have the whole forgiveness thing, I think has gotten really kind of nutty in a way.
I think forgiveness has been misconstrued.
Oh, that's good. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it has.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely, it has.
Mm-hmm.
I will, and I know I've talked about this before, but I'll say it again. So my mother, she had dementia for a very long time. And then, of course, the last few years of her life, she had it, and there was no way to get, and she was a, I used to say Olympic level narcissist, but she was really a professional. She was I had a lot of my wounding, the trauma that I had to heal was narcissistic abuse.
Mm-hmm.
Very tough, but doable. But doable for all of you out there. It is absolutely doable. And I was healing my stuff and everything. And so while she was alive, I was never going to get anything out of her. Just between her just never admitting that she ever did anything wrong to then the dementia, those conversations would never happen. But the spirit that was my mom in this lifetime, she would come to me in spirit, and Mari-Lyn knows, no, get out of here. I'm not ready for you. And that's okay. I never felt, Fred was very good about, and actually my dad as well, who is also in spirit, would say, it's okay. When you're ready, you can allow her to apologize, or you can forgive her, or whatever that is, but you need to do it on your own time. Just saying it, we hear people say, oh yeah, I've forgiven them. It's like, oh yeah, I don't think you have. And it's okay that you haven't. And sometimes we think we've, like I know that for many years, because I would, shit, it's me. I would say, oh, I've forgiven my mom. It's okay. Well, that's because I didn't go deep into that wound yet. Forgiveness is, people, especially religion, it's all about forgiveness. And I understand what's being said, because really being unforgiven hurts me more than, it doesn't hurt the other person. Me being unforgiving is detrimental to me. Mm-hmm. But if you're not ready, you're not ready. And a lot of times there's a lot of healing to be done before you can get to that point. And it's never forgiving. Like, I didn't forgive my mother for what she did, like all the trauma she put me through. I don't have to say that's okay that I didn't forgive her to say, oh, that's okay that you did all of that. But I can forgive that it happened and it made me who I am today. And now I'm very grateful. Does that make sense?
It did.
Okay, good.
Mm-hmm.
Man, I am on something today. I'm getting all personal and stuff today. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So anyway, that's forgiveness. What would you like to talk about, Mari-Lyn? It's mostly been me this whole time. I'm sure our listeners would like to hear from you too.
We have a little different view on forgiveness. Mm-hmm. A little different. I don't think it's huge. I agree it's okay not to forgive when you're not ready. Mm-hmm. However, I have seen people not want to forgive just for the sake of holding on to the resentment. Holding on to the anger.
Yes.
And all that's doing is punishing yourself. It's keeping you in that wounding. It's
Yes.
keeping you in that
Yep.
lower vibration.
Yep.
And
Absolutely.
My
goal was always to forgive. I just hadn't got there yet. So maybe that's the difference. So maybe
that might be the difference. That might be the difference, because there are people who will not forgive.
No. Boy, the stubborn.
And I think the term forgiveness, I think, has been, like I said, misconstrued.
Yes. Sort of
into
hijacked.
Something like, I forgive you, therefore you aren't responsible, you aren't accountable, you don't have to.
Right.
You can keep doing those kinds of things. You can keep doing them to me. It's okay. That's not at all what forgiveness is.
No, not at all.
Forgiveness is, yes, making sure this is not all my ego. Forgiveness is allowing yourself to see the wounding on both sides. Forgiveness is allowing yourself to let go, or to begin to let go of resentments,
Yes,
of detrimental behaviors that you practice specifically because of that wound, that hatred.
Yes. And I'm going to add something that we talk about a lot. Allowing yourself to look at, like, what wasn't, what did you want it to be, and it wasn't.
And it
I
wasn't.
think sometimes that's where the resentment is. I wanted this and I never got it, so I am not forgiving you.
And what we really wanted, sometimes it was completely out of the realm of possibility.
Yes.
In that situation, or with that person.
Yes. Right.
Yeah. It's
that
not
magical thinking that just will get you in trouble every time.
Forgiveness is not very straightforward, and yet it can be very straightforward. It's really convoluted.
Yes.
It's not one layer. It's not one size fits all.
No. It took me years, a lot of years to forgive my mother. It was always my goal, though. I always knew that that's where I was going. I just couldn't get there until I got there. I got there. And it was so anticlimactic when it finally happened. It was just like, oh, yeah, okay.
And there is such a thing as, yes, you can forgive a person entirely, but then you might need to do that in like little bite-sized pieces.
Yes. Yep. Yes. And there's no one right way.
There's not.
But after talking today, I really think if you have the goal in mind of forgiveness, that's your goal, and you're making steps toward that. That's really what it's about. It's not, because if you're in a resentment, you refuse, whatever.
Well, sucks to be you.
Yes. And you remember my mom would come in and I'd be like, get out of here. I am not ready for you. And it would hurt so bad. And I know that this is the very healed soul, someone who wanted to come in and help me. And to apologize, and the forgiveness on her side and all of that. And I just wasn't ready for any of it.
No. And sometimes we're just not.
Yeah.
Sometimes we're just not.
Yes.
There's also that self-forgiveness piece. And I don't care what the situation is. If there is something that you feel, that there's forgiveness needed on any level, there is always self-forgiveness involved.
Yes.
It's always
true that
in there. Why? There's just too many variables, but there's always self-forgiveness. And if that's where we have to start, That's a beautiful place to start.
Yes.
That's the best place to start.
There was a lot of forgiving myself through that whole process.
Yes.
A lot of it.
Yes, there was.
A lot of it. Yeah. So I had to get through that first. For me, I think people do it. I've heard, psychologists say, well, here are the steps that you have to take. It's like, oh, brother, we're all so different. Like, whatevs.
Okay. You can, I have done that forgiving of different scenarios and different people in so many different ways in each one.
Mm-hmm.
Sure, there might be different steps, just like there's steps to grief, but you don't.
Yeah.
It's not like climbing a goddamn ladder.
Right. Right. Yes.
No.
No.
It doesn't work that way.
Yeah. And we're all going to go through it in our own way.
We go through it the way we need to go through it.
Yeah.
And self-forgiveness, a little bit here and a little bit of forgiveness for you and a little bit of forgiveness for this situation. And that brings up this person. Okay, you're going on the back burner.
Yes, I have this other stuff to do now.
It's way easier here.
Yeah.
And okay, there's more self-forgiveness. So okay, let me just do that for a while.
Yes. So saying all of this and talking about all of this.
Yeah,
it's a lot of work. So we're going back to the change, why we don't, but boy, is it worth it on the other side of it. Holy
it is
cow.
worth it.
And every step of the way, every time I would heal something and let it go, did I have still a mountain to climb? Yes, ma'am. Yeah. But you know what? I was a step closer and I felt better. Each step. What?
I just got with every time you have a mountain, the mountain climbing studs get sharper.
Oh, yes.
Climb that mountain easier.
Yes. Yes, it is easier and easier.
It is
easier. Not to say that each specific thing is easy, because it isn't. But each time you go through it, you have more wisdom, you have more clarity, you have more worth. For me, it was the worth. I'm going to do this because, damn it, I am worth it.
Yes.
And now I can truly put my mother off into what, like, she doesn't come in at all. She is not the spirit that was my mother in this lifetime. I never see her. She never comes in like my dad does all the time. I talk about that. So she was not someone, she came in to do a job, and it was a nasty job. And she came in and we had that conversation because she came in to do a really awful job, and she did it really well. And I thanked her for doing that job really well, for torturing me and the abuse, the traumas, all of that. I don't know. I was going somewhere with that. I lost it. So I guess it didn't need to be said.
Well, I'm glad my mom still comes in.
I am too.
Yeah.
Yes.
She doesn't come in like your dad does.
Mm-hmm.
But she still does. She comes in and it's always perfect timing.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. And my dad is mostly he comes in now as my cheerleader, I would think. Or to say when I don't want to do something and it's the right thing, and
he comes in to say, do it anyway.
Oh, I'm so sorry you're sad. Do it anyway. That's what he comes in. He's always my cheerleader. And sometimes he'll show up on my paranormal stuff too, when we're in a really hairy situation and I need to really find myself and not go into that place of fear. There is no one, not even Fred, who can get me to relax like my dad, like that spirit. And he'll come in and just, remember who you are. I'm standing here. See, I want to cry right now. Because that's what he does. He reminds me to not be in fear and do it anyway. Do it anyway, because you can, because I'm worth it. Wow.
Absolutely.
Dad, making me cry while I'm doing a podcast. So,
And my dad can't come in because, I go see him every Wednesday because he's still living. So
yes, he is. Yes, he is. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Ooh, however,
Yes.
his higher self has come to you. I'm going to remind you.
Yes, he has.
Yes.
Yes.
That might be a whole nother podcast, us talking about that.
I think that is a completely different podcast on a
Yes.
different day in a different year.
Okay, when Mari-Lyn's ready to talk about that, we will do a podcast on living people coming to us energetically to try and start some healing, get some shit done.
I have to say,
Yes.
I think I have done significant healing since that incident.
Oh, yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was not for nothing. You didn't just tell him to go away or to whatever. No, you did. Yes.
Mm-mm. No.
Yes.
So if y'all are wondering, my father's higher self came in to, I honestly don't remember if it was specifically to apologize about something, to bring light to something, to talk about something. But what I remember saying was,
I don't remember either, or I would say.
it was, no, thank you. I want that from the human person
Yes.
in real life.
Right.
And has what I'm going to do air quotes, wanted
Yes.
happen? No.
No.
But what I wanted
Uh-huh.
really isn't necessary.
No. Nor is it coming.
No. And because it's part of like a fantasy land fairy tale
Yes.
novel written at midnight under the moon. It's just
Yes.
like, it's
Yes.
whatever. However,
Mm-hmm.
there have been conversations since then.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what happens is, and I'll make it quick because we'll do and if y'all want to hear it.
I think it would really be a great podcast.
And please,
yes,
if you're watching this on YouTube, let us know in the comments if you'd like us to do a video on this or not. Her father has been somewhere within him. This is bubbling up. This situation of him, it was around communication. That much of it. So his higher self came to Mari-Lyn. Mari-Lyn is certainly psychic enough to know that and to understand that was going on. The higher self was coming in to try and get that ball rolling. Really, if I remember, it was possible that the higher self was coming in to nudge her to talk to him, right? But you wanted him to do it. Something like that.
Something. I really don't remember the specifics.
But that happens. So, and everything the higher self is thinking, it'll trickle down to us. Whether we choose to acknowledge it or not is up to us. So something within him, he knew he was trying to work on it. He's an old man. And
he is.
And by that time, really you're certainly in that generation, the amount of healing he's going to do right now could be very little, right? And sort of, but the fact that that was even happening says that he's been thinking about it. It's been somewhere on his mind, possibly like, oh boy, why can't I just talk to my daughter? Why can't I say this? I don't know what that conversation looks like with himself. But that kind of thing happens. It happens a lot because our higher self has that book of what we're trying to get done in this lifetime. And the higher self is probably going, okay, tick-tock, Mr. Tick-tock, let's get this taken care of while you're still there so you don't have to do this shit again. And so it's kind of nudging him. Yeah, so it's pretty fascinating and wonderful, but Yeah. So our higher self is constantly, trying to get us to do things, and it's whether we accept it or not. But that was it really was beautiful.
It was. It
Yeah.
was.
And I totally understand your reaction to it. I totally get that. Yeah.
And on a different day, my reaction may have been different.
Right. You've also done a lot of work on it since then.
I have.
So even if it happened like today, your response would be different.
It would.
You may still say, yeah, I want to hear it from him. But it would still be different.
It would be so different.
There'd be more compromise there.
Yeah. There was like,
ready.
No. Peace out.
Yeah, it was like me with my mom. It's like, yeah.
Not interested. No.
Middle finger, no. Go away, not interested. Well, not quite that bad, but
I mean, luckily there have been conversations since then, and so his higher self comes in again. It will be with a completely different message.
Yes.
So
yes, cough, cough.
When I said we'll talk about that another day, another month, another year, I was really just being kind of facetious. But
I know you were. I know that, but yes. And Pam gets really pushy, so really it didn't matter. Because if I want to talk about it, I'd make sure. But something we didn't do, we might have to go back and record. We didn't open space and everything for everyone.
We didn't do that last week either.
Oh, we didn't?
Nope.
Son of a gun. Okay.
We didn't. So what I'd like to say is, for all of you that are watching on YouTube,
yes,
let us know. Yeah. There have been a couple where we've opened space and gotten everybody grounded. And now we've done 2 where we haven't.
Yeah.
I would really like to know how you experience it differently. I loved those times when we opened space and got grounded.
So I'm going to say, though, part of what happened this time, and I think last week as well, we had been doing so much work. We were sort of already open and in our channels. And so it didn't occur to us to do it.
Very true.
That happens.
It does.
So sorry, all of you who like it.
We have to put a note on our forehead.
So we won't be going back and adding it. But yes, we'll try to. I'll write myself a sticky note and slap it on my forehead. Yeah, not getting a Mari-Lyn tattoo or anything that says open space. Dumbass. You keep forgetting. Anyway, or email us, tcseverydayspsychics.com.
Yes.
Yeah, let us know what you think. We love hearing from all of you.
We do.
Certainly if you want a service. Yeah.
And drum roll.
Yes.
For all of our talk of updating the website.
Oh, yes.
We did it.
Woohoo! We still have a couple little tweaky things to do, I think.
Yeah, it's not.
But it's looking good. tcseverydayspsychics.com. Let us know what you think of that too.
Yep.
Unless you're going to be mean, then we don't want to hear it.
Absolutely.
I think we did really great.
Yeah.
We are not like techie people at all. At all.
No.
Mari-Lyn is more than I am, and thank goodness for that. So she did most of it. So when you look, you're going to see Mari-Lyn everywhere because she did most of it. I helped with some of the verbiage, really is kind of it. But yeah, it's there.
Well, the verbiage is a big part of it. So don't sell yourself short.
Yeah, but you were hours and hours working on that thing. Yes, getting it just right and changing things. And then, of course, she'd say, how does it look? And I'd come in and go, and she'd have to change things. Good thing she likes me. Although I'm not sure how much she liked me the past couple of days. But
do you know what really sucks? Is you're doing all this work and you're previewing and you're checking and you're double checking and it goes live and then you pull it up and you find all this.
Son of a bitch. Yes. Yes.
Because you had reached out and said, I don't know, something was something was something. I don't remember what it was. And so I fixed it. And then I found even more,
Yes.
more things.
That's one of those
Like,
things.
oh my God.
Yes. Kind of like once you look sort of with the magnifying glass, you're going to find all kinds of stuff.
Man.
Yes. Oh, another thing we did, which will be on YouTube, but not if you're just listening off one of our one of the apps, you know, to the podcast, is we have a new intro video we did. Now, Mari-Lyn did a lot of work on that. Thank you very much.
You're very welcome.
So it is, we love it. We just love it. It's drumming on there, like it's just thrilled. Yeah, it's really awesome. So thank all of you for, you know, if we didn't have all of you, we wouldn't get so inspired to make things different and to continue on and to just want to make this a better experience for everyone. Yeah. Agreed. So thank you so much.
I was going to say heal, but no, we heal for ourselves, not for anybody else.
Absolutely.
So, you know, I can't really do that.
No.
But I think that's an important thing to talk about. I know you were getting ready to wrap it up, but healing for the sake of yourself.
Yes.
Not for someone else.
Yes. Because it's not about them.
It's not, and not at all.
Mm-mm.
Mm-mm.
And sometimes, in human form, you can't always get to that person to apologize. So really, it's not about, just another reason why it's not about them. You can do it anyway for yourself, and you should. And you should. And there are some people who I would never suggest that you go back and apologize to. Like, no, that is a rotten person who hasn't changed. Do not put yourself in that position. You work on you, forgive in your own way, move past it for yourself, and let them be.
Well, there's ways around that.
Yes. Yep.
There's talking to their higher self. If there's something that you've done, you can absolutely do that. Talk to their higher self.
Yep.
Absolutely. If you're not comfortable with their higher self, talk to spirit.
Yes.
Your higher self, your guides.
Yes.
Your living dog.
Yes.
Expressing it, because sometimes it's not safe.
Absolutely.
Sometimes it's absolutely not
or
safe.
Just gonna open a whole can of worms that is just not worth it.
Yes,
to have that in your life.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But when we make an apology, there's different types of apologies that we do, of course. However, we're always doing it for ourselves.
Yes.
As well as for the other person, because we have no control over whether the other person accepts it or not, how they take it, how they throw it back in our face.
If you have the expectation, ooh, this just came in. Someone out there needs to hear this. Someone is trying to get someone back. What? Someone is trying to get someone back. I don't know if it's like a lover or a close friend or someone, and you think you're going to go like throw yourself on the sword and apologize, and they're just going to pull you back into the fold. Please do not do it. You are not doing it for you. You are not doing it for you.
Nope.
You are not. That is some codependence there that needs some healing. Well, could be some other things too. There's some wounding there that definitely needs, but no. Never throw yourself on the sword like that, because if that's the outcome you're looking for, you're doing it for the wrong reason. The absolute wrong reason. Here, I know. Her hair. Usually it's my hair. I have the gray, crazy hair that, just the big hair explosion, and there's hair everywhere. Yes. So if you're doing it for that reason, because you're wanting someone back, You want it in the back of your life. You want that job. You want that promotion. You want that, whatever it is. If you have a goal in mind that I'm going to go apologize, that way I'm going to get this, that's the wrong thing. If you want to apologize because you need to apologize because you did something that wasn't fair, that wasn't right, that was wrong, that was hurtful, that was whatever, and you need to apologize for yourself, that's why you do it. You don't do it because you're expecting a particular outcome.
Not at all.
No. And, you know, you can always expect that person is not going to accept it. Be ready for that too. But it's okay. It's, you know.
Yeah, it is okay, because what they do with it's really none of our business.
What is the saying? What that person thinks of me is none of my business.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's really true.
Yeah. So
yeah.
Okay. Is that a good place to stop?
I think that might be a good place.
Okay. Thank you everyone really so much for showing up and listening. We appreciate all of you so very much.
Yes,
and really grateful. People want to tune in and listen to us yammer. I mean, that's awesome. Yes. And remember, there are weekly meditations on the Conscious Spirit Podcast YouTube channel.
Yes.
Talking about healing. If you want to start your healing journey, that's a good way to start, to do those weekly Fred's Meds. Yes. Certainly you can contact us for a healing. We're here. Other things. You go to our website now that's nice and pretty.
Yes. Fred's Meds could be a gateway to healing.
Absolutely. You will heal a lot by listening to them and doing them weekly.
Yeah.
Yes. So,
and I want to say, with meditations, especially these, if there's one that you listen to that you really like, you just love it, it makes you feel amazing, do it as often as you want to.
Yeah.
These are really timeless, and you can do them as often as you want to. In any order. It's not like you have to do them in the order that they're put out. So.
And you said the last one was very reminiscent of when I did them live in person.
Yes.
I don't know what that difference was, but yeah, it was really hard trying to do. I don't have an audience anymore. It's just me sitting here, you know, talking about, which, you know, I don't mind talking, but you know, it's very different than when I would have when we had a space and I had a room full of people. I can guide them all. So I'm not sure what that looks like, but I'm hoping to do more of those. Thanks, Fred.
Yeah, they're awesome.
Thank you. Yeah. Yes, they are. I'm very blessed to be able to do those. So along with my buddy Fred.
Yeah.
All right, everyone. Thank you so very much, and talk to you soon.
Bye.
Bye.